We come to you from Cape May in the historic Congress Hall, and we're here because this is the day that Atlantic City was scheduled to be taken over by the state. That's not going to happen. What is going to happen? We'll ask Atlantic City's Mayor Don Guardian and new hope for Atlantic City. We'll talk to the president of a brand new university putting up a new building, bringing in new students and new cash to a city that needs it very much. Those stories and much more next, because Jersey matters. Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. We are taping this report at the Congress Hall in Cape May on a special event that we will explain in one moment. But we're also taping this on the day that Atlantic City was scheduled to be taken over by the state. That didn't happen. However, the future of Atlantic City is still very murky. To help clear things up, I introduce the mayor of Atlantic City, Don Guardian. Thank you, sir, for doing
this. Good evening, Larry. Great to be down here in Cape May, beautiful Congress Hall, on a great evening with fellow conservatives from all over New Jersey.
You seem very happy today.
I am. I have been blessed because all 9 unions in Atlantic City agreed to go to a 28-day pay period instead of 14. So instead of closing down today, we're open for business and we're good in April and May and June. Not a long-time solution, but it buys 90 days for calmer heads to come to the table as we look for a solution for Atlantic City. More importantly, today, the Attorney General initially had a cause for us not to make payroll today, but didn't get that into the courts until after they closed last night. And of course, we did payroll at a minute after midnight this morning, so by the time it hit the courts, it was a moot point. And then this afternoon had a major court case, and that was the Attorney General saying that we were compelled to pay the school, even though the schools weren't asking for the money. And the judge had ruled that indeed the pay schedule that we have currently is keeping the school open, keeping teachers paid. The school did not come because they did not want the state to represent them. And then we have a countersuit now against the state that they're not meeting their obligation under the fair and equitable law to provide public school education to all children. And Atlantic City should not be left out of the solution that the state has found by funding all of the other cities in New Jersey. So a lot going on today.
What a mess.
It's a mess. And, you know, it was a real good feeling to be in Trenton yesterday in the assembly side of the House with level-headed people asking very tough questions, but trying to find the road to recovery. And so I hope that the bill that came out in the assembly, came out of the Judiciary Committee, is going to be something that either can get passed or that we can find a compromise with the Senate bill that's there.
Because the governor says he's going to veto it.
Governor said he's going to veto it, but governor also has always been able to hold on to every single Republican and every single conservative Democrat. Can't say that now. People are concerned about making the right decision about Atlantic City, and it's not a Democrat decision, it's not a Republican decision. It's whether or not you're going to fight for the little guy, you're going to respect the dignity of the worker, and you're going to respect the civil rights of my citizens.
Wait a second. When you say in the past he's been able to hold on to every Republican, do you mean that the veto would be overridden?
No, I'm not going to say that yet. But certainly going into this now, the governor's certainly been very busy trying to call assemblymen and trying to win their support. But, you know, there's several Republican assemblymen who have already said they can't go for the governor and Sweeney bill.
Let's go back to your first answer when you said that you got 28 days, a 28-day reprieve almost.
What I said was that instead of paying every 14 days, we're paying every 28 days. So it gets us through till the May 2nd, but I can tell you that this whole week, after the Howard Johnson's owner came in and paid $25,000 second quarter tax early, we've been flooded this week with people paying their taxes a month ahead of time.
Okay, so when do you go bankrupt?
End of June.
The end of June?
No, we don't go bankrupt. We run out of money at the end of June.
Okay, I understand the difference. I get the difference, but...
So now, Larry, you know, it's the tough decisions we still have to make. Do we not pay bondholders? Do we not pay the schools? Do I not pay police and fire? Do not pay public works? Do we file bankruptcy? Those are decisions before us. None of those have to be done. We continue to reduce the cost, let the casinos redirect the funds because they want to Atlantic City, and just treat us fairly like you do all the other cities. It's up to the governor right now to help Atlantic City, and remember that it's residents of New Jersey who he needs to be lending support to now.
Yeah, and your correction was an important one because you can't go bankrupt because you need the governor to sign off on bankruptcy, and he says he won't do it.
Actually, it's the local finance board, but it's one and the same.
Right.
Yes.
So you need his approval.
We have to petition the state in order to file for bankruptcy. And we've told you the reasons why we don't think it makes sense. But if the governor continues to squeeze and to try to close us down and doesn't give us the $33.5 million, and by the way, our response to the court today was the reason that the schools are behind in the payment is because the governor has not remitted the $33.5 million that we were forced to put in our budget, and he has not given us for 2015.
You said in your first answer that this buys us time so that maybe cooler heads can prevail.
Exactly.
That is a tall order, isn't it, considering the governor called you a liar. You said you felt like you were set up. He said, I'm not going to compromise on this, that Atlantic City can go over a cliff like Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Cooler heads doesn't seem like it's in the horizon.
I've had the cooler head. The only term I've used for this governor is governor. He's the elected by the people of New Jersey. I will respect his position in that office. Yes, he did. He either misrepresented the facts or the members of his staff represented the facts to him. But the meetings that we had with all the representatives from different forms of government produced what we were talking about, a partnership. Then he stood up and he didn't talk about a partnership at all, but Senator Sweeney did. And the day that the governor made that statement that we were coming back to the table, the state Senate president came down to Atlantic City and spent 2 hours with myself and my 9 council representatives and told us that we were going to sit down, we were going to form a partnership, we were going to work towards a solution for Atlantic City, and we were not going to do a takeover. We met for 3 more meetings. We thought we had the bill ironed out, and then we were shocked when we saw the Sweeney governor bill that had a complete takeover.
So everybody's got to calm down, right? That's the first thing.
Everyone's got to calm down. Everyone's got to come into the room. Everyone's got to realize when we were elected to be diplomats and problem solvers. And we've got simple solutions to solve the problem in Atlantic City, but we need to work together.
Do you call him? Does he call you? How does this work now?
My calling him won't do anything until the governor says, I'm willing to look at all the different options, or the Senate president and the speaker call him and say, come on back to the table. We've got the mayor, we've got the president of city council. We're trying to find a solution that's going to work for Atlantic City and for the state of New Jersey, because the better Atlantic City does, the more money that goes to Trenton.
It sounds like what's happening now, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Senate president and the speaker are more willing to compromise, and that would make those form an alliance with you and isolate the governor. Is that a plan?
That's a statement that you've just made that I agree with.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir.
Larry, thank you, Rich. Have a great evening and enjoy tonight's program.
I absolutely will. When we come back, we'll talk to an assemblyman from Atlantic City that is very upset about all of this when Jersey Matters continues.